Hello, this is Joe from Nerd in Korea. We are looking at a new series here, or maybe continuing series, but we're starting on budget artifacts that have draw. So card draw on budget artifacts. Okay, this is part one. Alright, when we say budget, I mean under $2 US, and I'm using the market price on TGC Player. Or TCG. I always say TGC instead of, but yeah. Not a sponsor. Again, I don't have sponsors. But anyway. Card draw is one of the major issues a deck may have. This is particularly true for monocolors or multicolors that do not have access to blue. So if you've got blue, you probably don't have this problem. Anything that doesn't have blue or, probably could do with some of these. I think a lot of times if you're playing your deck and you just can't, you keep running out of gas, like your hand keeps shrinking throughout the game, what you need is this right here. So I think these are a major issue decks have. And these are the most broadly useful ones. Next video will be on the more niche ones. I think the more niche ones are actually better, but they don't fit into every deck. So this is something you can put in pretty much any deck with these ones. Alright. First of all, we have Contested Game Ball. So this one is kind of a weird one. It is 2 colorless and it costs 15 cents, so it's very affordable in every sense of the word. No pun intended. But, whenever you're dealt combat damage, the attacking player gains control of Contested Game Ball and untaps it. Alright, so you can tap it, and when you do, you put a point counter on it, and then you get to draw a card for 2 mana. So again, your initial turn, you play this for 2, and 2 more, you tap it, and you get 1 card. 4 mana for 1 card is not great, right? You kind of want this more for its secondary effect. When someone attacks you, they gain control of it, and then it incentivizes everyone else to attack them so they can draw a card, right? This is something that people are going to kind of, hopefully, yeah, just like a Contested Game Ball, it's going to bounce around the battle, or bounce around the game, and switch controllers several times. And ideally, you want it maybe the last time, so that if it has 5, you can sacrifice it, or 5 tokens. You sacrifice it, draw a card, and create a treasure token. So the last time, you want to be the one to have it. Definitely, but even if you're not, you've gotten everyone else to attack each other a lot. So that can be very worthwhile too. So this is kind of a political tool, almost as much as it is actually a card draw, but anyway. And here we go. Again, 15 cents. I think it's worth having anyway. Aladdin's Lamp. Okay. So, this is the steepest mana cost of any card I've ever featured. It is 10 mana to cast. Okay, so you'd be looking at something like, ideally, Planar Bridge, which I had in a tutor video recently. You use 6 and you can search your deck for any card and put it straight into the battlefield. So if you're paying 6 instead of 10 for this is actually a deal, right? But anyway, what it does is you pay X and tap it, and you can look at X number of cards. So again, you pay 3 mana, tap it. When you're about to draw a card, you look at 3 cards instead, choose 1, draw that, and then put the others at the bottom. So it turns almost every draw into like almost a scry. So you're always finding something you need. This is actually pretty incredible. It doesn't allow you to draw on its own. It works off of draw, so it's a little different, but it's definitely worthwhile. It is a whole 30 cents. Okay, again, the 10 mana cost. Don't play this unless you have a way of getting around the 10 mana cost, right? You have a way to cheat it into play or significantly reduce it. Even I have a Saheeli the Gifted deck. She can cast artifacts very easily, she can create mana just for artifacts, so that actually wouldn't be a bad mix, but still, like, 30 cents, but have a way to get in. Yeah? Okay, next is Braided Net. This does not draw cards at all. So it seems like a weird thing to put in, but anyway. It transforms into something that does. Okay, so first, it comes in with 3 net counters. You can remove a net counter from it to tap a non-land permanent. And that thing's activated abilities cannot be activated. So this is a good counter to creatures. A lot of creatures will have powers that you don't want activated, and this lets you make sure they don't get activated. So again, it can be very useful. The main thing here is craft with artifact. Again, so you cast it for 2 and a blue, then you pay 1 and a blue and exile one of your artifacts. It can be any artifact. I feel like I may be misunderstanding that, but anyway. I'm pretty sure you could even do a token artifact. So again, you have a clue token, exile that, pay 1 and a blue, and then this transforms into Braided Kupu? Kupu? Anyway. 3 and a blue, draw a card for each artifact you control, then put it into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. So this is kind of like a one-time thing that you can start for all over again. It is very, very mana expensive and kind of effort expensive, but if you have a lot of artifacts in your deck, you're just going to be drawing like a crazy number of of cards. Again, even if you have a lot of artifact tokens, that would count towards this, right? So if you have like a deck that makes treasures, hey, you might have like 10 treasures on the battlefield. If you use this, then you're drawing 10 cards. So in the right deck, in the right circumstance, I think this can be very worthwhile. I would probably pair it with something where, like, if you draw a card, you gain 2 life or they lose 2 life or something like that, you know. Some kind of auto damage or life gain effect would be best with this. But anyway, that is a whole 8 cents to buy. Carnage Altar. Okay, this almost looks not good, but there's one thing that makes it, I think, actually passable. Okay, 3, sacrifice a creature, draw a card. 3 mana to draw a card is not great, frankly, but it doesn't tap. So you can, first of all, you might want a sack outlet, right? Being able to kill things, even your own things, can be very useful in some decks. Secondly, card draw just by, sacrificing a creature and 3 mana. You can do that as many times as you want in a turn. There's lots of ways, especially to make like infinite colorless mana. You can potentially just draw as many cards as you want, or as many tokens creatures as you're able to produce. But anyway, can be a very, very good combination with some like graveyard black decks, or if you want Death Trigger ETBs, this could be very, very good for that. Anyway, 19 cents, only 2 mana to cast it as well. So, finally, Collector's Vault. This is definitely, like, I think a lot of them I have trouble choosing like which one is number 1 and which one is number 2, and maybe it's kind of a judgment call there. This is just hands down way better. Anyway, so it costs 2 to cast it and then 2 to activate the ability. You draw a card, then discard a card. Okay, so discard I think is supposed to be a disincentive. Remember that a lot of times it can be useful. Like for instance, Madness decks, if you have any kind of Madness, that's just a way for you to cast your spell with Madness. And then it creates a treasure token. So it costs you 2, and you get 1 back, basically. So net costs you 1, and you draw a card, and you discard a card. Any deck where you want where you're even okay with rummaging. Rummaging is like draw a card and discard a card. Kind of getting what you want in your hand, basically. This is always a useful effect, and it also comes with treasure tokens. So any kind of, even like, I always forget everything when I'm recording. Chatterfang. Chatterfang, anytime you create any token, it creates a squirrel token as well. So this would trigger the commander. You make a treasure token, you also get 2 tokens basically, and draw a card and discard for 2 mana. So this I think is actually very, very worthwhile. Anyway, it is 45 cents for that one right there. Alright, on to the list. Contested Game Ball is 15 cents. Aladdin's Lamp is 30 cents. Braided Net is 8 cents. A lot of setup, but potentially just a pile of cards. So I think a lot of people look at that and go, oh, that's a lot of hassle. True, but the potential rewards are, I think, outweigh every other thing as far as card draw in this list goes. Carnage Altar, once again, 19 cents. Just because it doesn't tap, it's worthwhile. If it tapped, it would be just straight up jank. But anyway. Collector's Vault, 45 cents. Again, the Collector's Vault, I think people underestimate. But anyway, alright. Take it easy and have a good one.